Hello everyone and welcome to Blogger and Everything and welcome back to the channel and welcome to a match review kind of for what was Barcelona's first loss of 2025, and it was a 3-1 loss away to Borussia Dortmund, the same Dortmund that Barcelona beat 4-0 in the first leg. And I just have to say, this was just like, it's probably the most Dortmund thing that I've seen this season from Dortmund, because guess what? The first leg, they really didn't do enough. They didn't do enough to give themselves even a shout going into the second leg, because they could have at least scored one away from home. It would have been something to build on, but they couldn't do that. So they just go ahead here and completely just dominate this match against Barcelona. There's really no other word for it. Barca could thank Szczesny a lot, rather should thank Szczesny a lot for securing that spot in the semifinals, because they could have easily have conceded 3 goals by halftime. It was that kind of a match. Dortmund did have more than enough chances to have scored way more goals than just the 3 that they scored on the night. And from Barcelona, well, you have to say that really the only words to describe this was tepid, complacent, tired, and just overall unacceptable. Not good enough for a team of their caliber with their ambitions. We should put it that way. Not good enough for a team with their ambitions to be going into the semifinals with this kind of miasma on them. And well, I know you're probably going to say, well, PSG struggled as well against Aston Villa, and I could probably argue that Aston Villa is the stronger team between them and Dortmund. You could argue that. You could also argue that PSG's team defensively is just a bit weaker than Barcelona's. I don't know. Anyway, there was a bit of rotation in this one from what would have been your normal starting 11. No Pedri, no Balde, of course, because he went off injured against Leganés, and we also got to see Fermin as well start once again with Dani Olmo on the bench. And really, I think it's pretty telling that aside from Szczesny, the only players here who walked away with really something, they can look back at this and say, hey, I wasn't that terrible, is most likely the guys who came on as, options for guys who weren't starting. You know what I mean? Your Fermins, your Gerard Martins, Gavi as well. And okay, we can throw in Kubarsi and Frankie de Jong as well. And that's because, they have the threat of being rotated looming over their heads. Now, having said that, I have no idea what was going through Ronald Araujo's mind in this match, but he was just not there. And I think what he has done is that he has successfully played himself out of a starting position in that semi-final, whoever it's going to be against, whether it be Bayern Munich, whether it be Inter Milan. And at this point, I'm hoping it's Bayern, just because Barca so far, at least this season, are capable of beating German teams, but also because Bayern aren't going to play with the nasty pack 3, which we saw Barcelona suffer with today. And there's just really so much going on. But to be honest, tiredness is starting to show. This performance, this match really did give me, 2024 November and December vibes. We remember how tired Barcelona got in those 2 months and how lackluster the performances were. And we've seen that now for 2 matches straight. The one away to Leganés and now this one away to Dortmund. So, I did, to be fair, point out the, danger of how these Dortmund matches came one after a Real Betis game that was very difficult, and the other one after a match against the mighty Leganés. You can only do so much given what Barcelona has in as far as squad is concerned, and players were out with injuries. Casado would definitely be a big help if he was still fit. So we'll see what this is all going to mean going forward. But for now, I guess let's just be happy with making the semifinals, because it's been a while. 2019 was the last time. Hopefully, we can do a lot better than we did in 2019. But aside from that, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I thank you all for tuning in. Do have a great day, and Forza Barca.